My name is Wan Ming.
Ming?
You pay me any dollar for war. This bullshit. This all bullshit.
Death to Ming!
So as you know, I am a big fan of Henry Cavill. As far as I'm concerned, that man should have been James Bond before Daniel Craig, and probably we would have ended up with a Bond who was still alive at the end of his own film. You know, even Henry Cavill was supported by Daniel Craig, but there's no point now, Daniel, because you gave us 3 great films. Well, actually 2 if you're going to count Casino Royale and Skyfall. The rest are a bit, whatever. So this article came out yesterday, but I was at work, so I couldn't make a video. And plus, yesterday was one of the worst days I've ever had because it was like the entire life force from my body was just knocked out. It kind of knocked me out for 6. So I'm kind of in recovery mode today. And no, it's not the Cove because I don't believe in that nonsense whatsoever. So the Daily Express, again, one of these British newspapers, I don't agree with a lot about what they talk about, but they're actually repurposing an article that appeared on, I think it's Screen Geek. And yes, like the article says, Henry Cavill's Superman will be replaced by Superwoman. Yeah, the Flash's time travel mayhem. That's when you think about the Flashpoint story, it is all about replacing Superman, white Superman. Yeah, before we get the Ta-Nehisi shipwreck of a film next year, or hopefully it never materializes, if that Discovery merger with Warner Brothers goes through, iron out a few kinks, I don't know. So Henry Cavill's Superman is to be extinguished from the DC movie timeline in the upcoming Flash movie, which I think, if I'm not sure, has been pushed forward to next year for release, but I might be wrong. So Sasha Calle, or Sasha Cal, I don't know how you pronounce her surname, she's taking his place in a twist turn, claims a new report. So when we go down further, now this is a quick excerpt. I'm not going to play all of it because I'll probably get a copyright claim, but this is Lorraine Kelly, still a fit Scottish honey at is she in her 50s? And she's still a smoking hot MILF, man. But this is what he said to her in an interview some time ago.
And what about Superman? Do you still have the outfit?
I do still have the outfit.
At the back of your closet, just in case?
Just in case, yes I do, yes I do.
That with the tuxedo beside each other.
See, just in case. Now, Henry Cavill loves playing Superman. I love him as Superman. Is he better than Christopher Reeves? Of course not. Christopher Reeve will always be the de facto Superman. But if you're kind of lining up the best, I would actually put Henry Cavill next to Christopher Reeve. I can't separate one or the other because they're both great Supermen. They're my Supermen. Brandon Routh, you are okay, dude, but you're a little bit on the thin side. Superman's meant to be like a big, bulky god, you know, but that's what we get. And look, whatever you say about Batman versus Superman, I like Ben Affleck and I like Henry Cavill in their iconic roles as Batman and Supes. I love them in that. The film has its faults, for sure it does. But we know what I can't slam it for is the whole dynamic between Ben and Henry. It was fantastic. And despite the critical mauling it had at the box office, it still did well box office receipts wise. But Warner Brothers, being Warner Brothers, are dumb. They're just complete idiots. I worked for that company back in the 90s. I might tell you about it in a live stream one day, but my God, they can see great things in front of them, but they just don't want to take risks. But they took risks back in the early days with the Warner Brothers cartoons, their propaganda cartoons, where Bugs Bunny was mimicking Vietnamese people. If you don't believe me, look it up. It is pretty hilarious to watch how they got away with it. And now it's like they're doing the whole Disney U-turn. It would never really happen. We'll just put it under the carpet and forget about it. Well, that's the beautiful thing about digital history. It's there for us to enjoy forever and ever. So, having starred in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, Batman vs. Supes, and Justice League, which by the way is underrated, Henry Cavill has been a fan favourite Clark Kent despite the mixed reactions to the DCEU movies. Since then, his future in the Warner Brothers franchise has remained unclear, even though the star has said on multiple occasions he'll be up for a return. However, a new report shockingly claims the superhero is being retconned from the timeline in Ezra Miller. Yep, though who is he now? He, she, they, he, I don't care. I mean, Ezra Miller is the guy that's bringing WB into disrepute alongside Amber Turd. So there is a potential warning, folks. So if you don't care about this stuff, and I'm going to reveal it very shortly, go ahead. If you don't want to know, just stay away. But the majority of the people who visit my channel don't care either way. So yeah, we're going to get this now. So in 2023, so I was right. The Flash will travel back in time in an attempt to save his mother's life, only to mess around with the multiverse, a term I'm hating day by day. The film is set to feature Ben Affleck's Batman for one last time, and a version of The Dark Knight played by Michael Keaton. Then we're going to get Barry Allen standing next to a variant of himself, probably two variants I think, and Sasha Calle as Supergirl. By the way, yeah, I'll get to her in a minute as well. It's the latter who a new report claims will be replacing Cavill's Superman in the blockbuster. So Screen Geek claimed, according to our sources, newly cast Supergirl actress Sasha Calle is playing the Kara Danvers version of the character and will replace Superman actor Henry Cavill, as the last survivor of Krypton. So forget it, folks. Yes, even though Supergirl and Superman escaped Krypton before it exploded, guess who gets the bullet? Yeah, it's it's poor old Superman. And get this, in a weird twist of fate, General Zod, I will find you! He goes back and kills Superman as a baby. Can somebody please tell me what's wrong with this picture? Oh God. I mean, The Witcher. I keep saying I'm going to watch it, and I have to watch it for Henry Cavill, but I've heard they've made so many horrible decisions within that show. You know, they bring in diversity, they bring in agenda, they bring in political identity. It's just like, you know, a Witcher, which is a Polish set IP, set in Poland in a certain time. And that's what kind of puts me off on watching it. I want to watch it for Henry, but it's hard for me to kind of separate him from everything else that's going on. And Henry, being the good old trooper that he is, you know, he's going to put up with it. This guy, so I've said it many, many times, like I want Henry Cavill to get one good role, and then he can be in that role for a few years and just give that to us. And, you know, and there's evidence that Cavill might appear in at least a cameo, because apparently they couldn't get him as a cameo for the Shazam movie, could they? You know, what a shame. And I know what, I just hope this Flash movie never happens now. I hope that with the shenanigans of Ezra Miller, and he's bringing a lot of disrepute against Warner Brothers at the moment. Apparently what he did now in the video that I made a few days ago, apparently he threatened a couple in a bar in Hawaii, which is just insane. And he's going off the rails. I might have some sympathy for the guy, but when it comes to look, Ezra Miller, he's a third-rate actor. If you've seen him in Perks of Being a Wallflower, to me, when I watch that film now, it's like, no, for me, Logan Lerman is the best thing in that movie. Forget Emma Watson, she's just useless anyway. She's on the same tier of acting as Ezra Miller is. Ezra Miller is playing a version of himself in that film that he's now become in real life. If you go back and you watch the film, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's such a shame. And look, when it comes to Supergirl, Sasha Calle, you know, I'm sure she's a nice woman. Oh my God. Do not get me started on this emaciated waif. This is not Batgirl, folks. This is not my Batgirl. Sorry, she's not. Yep, so this is your Supergirl, folks. Short hair, because God forbid if we give her long hair, she's going to look too attractive. She's got the fake super abs That is your new savior for the DCEU going forward, because yeah, it's going to be her. It's going to be emaciated Batgirl played by Leslie Grace. It's going to be Ezra Miller, who's now they, them, who gives a shit. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is not my... Now, this Supergirl, it is all to propagate Latinx. No. Males are Latinos. Girls are Latinas. That's what I'm going to say, and that's what I'll always say. Not this new flipping acronym, Latinx. I don't give a shit about that. So forget Henry Cavill and forget Ben Affleck, white dudes, alpha male white dudes. We can't have them anymore. It's got to be this going forward. And you know what? I might have been okay with the Supergirl of a different persuasion in a film like this. Had she had long hair, but you know, they're kind of making her do the whole. They're kind of making her less attractive as possible. I absolutely hate that. And look, I'm gonna be impolite when I say this, but this is not my Supergirl. No fucking way. Helen Slater. She's always going to be my Supergirl. Yes, it's a kooky, hokey movie. Who cares? And if we had a female director to oversee that movie, would it have been a better film? Probably not. They got who was the best director at the time. So there you have it, folks. I'm disappointed about this. I'm going to leave this message, this video, on a nice little note. It's an 8-second clip. It's from Henry Cavill's forthcoming movie, directed by Matthew Vaughn. And by the way, I'll be talking about a Matthew Vaughn film I saw recently. In fact, I'm going to make a separate video on 3 videos I watched recently. I think it'd be nice just to do that as a bit of a conglomerate of movies rather than making separate videos for them. But Argyle, yes, not the limo driver in Die Hard. And by the way, I am making a video on Bruce Willis later on as well. But have a look at this 8-second clip with Dua Lipa. See what you think.
The greater the spy, the bigger the lie.
And that's it. That is it. So people have been commenting on Henry's look in the film. He looks like an overbuffed Zoolander. Well, he's probably in disguise. It's just an 8-second clip out of context, so we don't really know what the final thing's going to look like. But that is it, folks. I'm a big Henry Cavill fan. I've always been. And the guy gets hard done by a lot, and I hope he's going to get a break soon with his Highlander reboot, whoever he's playing. And of course, Henry has some Scottish in him because he's Henry William Dalgleish Cavill. So on that one, folks, if you enjoyed this video today, you know what to do already. Slap that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if I were you, I'll check me out on my next video.
How do we know you won't one day act against America's interests?
I grew up in Kansas, General. About as American as it gets.